O Mother Nui, stretch high above this valley. Your starry body is our glory. Then see the hawk of yonder Rahur quit, his fiery splendor, oh so mighty. He brings a light for all our weary souls. He makes the broken spirit whole.
Imagine trying to, bottle the chaotic, uninhibited energy of an ancient Celtic fire festival.
Right.
And combine it with the heavy psychological intensity of a Scorpio moon, just completely cramming them into a single drop of water. Well, that is exactly the collision that literally just happened yesterday, May 1st, 2026. Welcome to a deep dive into Velóra water.
Yeah, we've pulled together a wild stack of sources for you today. I mean, we're looking at ancient agrarian folklore texts, obscure astrology blogs, all the way to modern botanical farming guides.
Our mission today is to totally deconstruct this highly engineered Beltane flower moon distillate. And I just have to say up front, the name Velóra, it means strong or healthy in Latin, but it totally sounds like a prop from a romantasy novel.
Well, absolutely does.
Like it actually is used in modern books like The Frost Witch, though funny enough, it's also a real water brand operating right now in the Himalayas. But okay, let's unpack this. Why are we talking about this specific potion right now?
Well, the reason we're looking at this is because the catalyst for this distillate literally just happened.
Yeah.
I mean, true Velóra water demands a very specific, incredibly rare astrological alignment.
A highly engineered alignment.
Exactly. You need Beltane, which is the Celtic festival of purification and joy, fueled by burning 9 sacred woods overlapping with a Mayflower moon. But yesterday wasn't just any full moon.
No, it was a Scorpio micromoon.
Right, a Scorpio micromoon loaded with an Aries stellium. So you have this dense cluster of planets sitting in a highly aggressive, fiery sign.
But wait, looking at these astrology blogs versus the folklore texts, there's a massive thematic contradiction here. Here's where it gets really interesting. Beltane is all about external fiery joy.
Right. Very outward explosive energy.
But Scorpio, on the other hand, is notorious for violent internal emotional clearing, like psychological destruction. Aren't we mixing a massive energetic upper with a heavy psychological downer? That sounds less like a potion and more like an emotional car crash.
It totally would be a car crash if it weren't for the suspension system the potion uses. So the texts explain there's a highly specific dual water base. You can't just mix those extreme energies directly.
Oh, so you have to buffer them somehow.
Exactly. The agrarian texts say you start with the solar feminine side, which is Beltane morning dew. You harvest this specifically from the pleated leaves of the lady's mantle plant.
Right, and the modern botanical guides are so funny about this. They insist you harvest strictly 2 feet off the ground, basically to avoid biological contamination.
Yeah, avoiding dog urine.
Literally dodging dog pee.
Which is, a highly necessary practical step for modern alchemists.
Right.
So you take that pristine solar dew and combine it with lunar water, that's water left out overnight, to absorb the light and gravity of that intense Scorpio moon.
Okay, so that brings in the heavy lunar aspect.
Right, and this introduces a grounding Taoist concept called Jinghua Shuiyu, or mirror flower, moon water.
I read that as a humbling reminder that physical reality and beauty are just fragile illusions. But why parachute a Taoist philosophy into a Celtic and astrological mashup?
Because you really need a conceptual anchor. The Celtic fire is way too volatile, and the Scorpio moon is just too heavy. The Taoist principle acts as a neutralizing agent, balancing the raw physical vitality of the morning dew with a deep spiritual humility.
So we have this highly charged, philosophically balanced water, but you can't just leave it at that, or it's literally just a jar of water. To physically anchor those energies into something you can consume for beauty, calm, and power, they bring in chamomile, lavender, and rose petals.
And these cannot just be generic hothouse flowers. The sources insist they must be grown in biologically active regenerative soil.
Why does the soil matter so much?
Well, when a plant grows in complex living soil, it has to fight off natural stressors and interact with microbes. That struggle forces the plant to produce a much higher concentration of phytochemicals.
Ah, the volatile terpenes, the actual medicinal compounds.
Exactly. It's what gives the plant its scent and power.
But here's the thing. If you just dump nutrient-dense flower petals into tap water, it's going to turn into a moldy swamp in 3 days. This is where the mandatory high-proof grain alcohol comes in.
Right, the preservative.
But it doesn't just preserve it. I look at it like a cryogenic stasis field. The alcohol physically breaks down the plant's cellular walls, acting like a liquid magnet, pulling all those intense volatile oils out and permanently locking them into the water.
That's a great way to put it. Which brings us to the final mechanism of the incantation. The folklore texts mandate speaking directly to the mixture.
Like actually talking to the jar.
Yes, using phrases like dew on a petal, breath of the air. The operating theory here kind of mirrors Masaru Emoto's pseudoscientific experiments from the 90s, where he claimed human intention physically alters the molecular structure of water.
Oh, wow. So the belief is your spoken intention organizes the water molecules to hold on to those specific traits. I mean, whether you buy into the molecular reorganization or see it as pure folklore, it points to this massive human urge to physically bottle a fleeting, perfect moment in time. You're trying to drink an experience.
It is a staggering level of intentionality. You are taking chronobiology, lunar gravity, complex soil chemistry, and human language, and aiming all of it at a single glass of water.
Which leaves you with a slightly terrifying final thought.
Oh yeah, what's that?
Well, if esoteric traditions genuinely believe that water can be programmed by moonlight, living soil, and spoken intentions to hold profound power,
Right.
what kind of chaotic, stagnant, energetic imprints are you accidentally absorbing from the generic tap water you casually drink every single day?